So today is the first day. We're gonna start tear down on the Jeep. And then once we get all the parts out, we're gonna start putting it on our chassis table that we just finished. It's gonna be exciting. We got a lot to take out. We're gonna start by removing everything from the body. Then we're just gonna lift the body off the frame, and that'll make it a whole lot easier to get to the engine and the trans. And then once we get those out, we'll just pull the axles out. And then everything we don't need, we'll go outside. And everything we do need, we'll stay here in the shop. And just like that, we're left with nothing but meat and potatoes. We'll go ahead and we'll take the exhaust, the drive shafts out. I don't think we'll be able to use them, but we'll keep them anyway. We'll take the rest of the wiring loose from the engine, take the accessories off. Really, we only need the engine, trans, and the transfer case. We will have to leave the headers on too when we get it set up on our table. But we're trying to get down to just the axles so that we can put trusses on them. I don't even know what gear ratio is in them or if they have lockers. I know the rear doesn't have a locker, and I'm not entirely sure on what's left in the front. When I bought it, he told me that it was running and driving long ago, and they did trail it. I don't know how accurate that was, but it must have been a long time ago. So we're gonna take a little break and we'll come back and we'll keep stripping this thing down. Fuck, that wasn't good. Pick it up. That's all yours. Real easily get it. So leave it hanging. Yeah. Leave it hanging, and then I guess I'll cut some cuts for it to set in. I'll come right off the inside here, and I'll just come straight up with a 3.5 inch half round little cup for it to set in. But we need to get.
Well, we need to make sure that we don't have to be. The disc don't have to be sitting back here to get your wheelbase.
Yeah, that's what I said. We'll have to. We'll have to take a measurement from the center of the table. It will do. It'll be 180 inch wheelbase, so it'll be from the center back. Be what, 54. Let's go ahead and make a mark. It might be better to get one of them paint pens so that it stays on there. A little bit of fiddling. We got our axle tabs cut out and they're tacked good to the frame. Rear set right on the table. Then we made just some temporary cross beams to hold the front. The front net needs to be a little narrower. The knuckles get caught up on the outside of the table, so.
There you go.
Get it set like that. Then we'll measure each direction off the end of the tubes and get it centered. And once we set our pinion angle, we'll be ready to build on it. So, looking good. Okay, we're to a point now where we can actually start building. We got our table set and level. I'm going to set the front caster angle, make sure the center mark on my table lines up with the center mark on my axle. Then I'm gonna tack weld the axle in position. And then I got a few axle truss parts that I'm gonna start fitting to this front axle. I won't fully weld it just yet, but we'll get it tacked on. And then once we get that tacked on, we'll hang the engine over the table. Then we can finally start building some frame rails for this thing. Let's go to about 5 degrees backwards. We'll go with that. Looks pretty good. So I've designed and cut out some axle truss pieces. I just did a quick design in Fusion 360. Cut them out on the plasma table. I'm gonna start by tacking a few of these pieces together just so it's a little bit easier to handle. And maybe I'll be able to fit it on the axle a little bit easier. So we'll tack these together, then we'll move over to the axle, and then we'll start fitting the rest of it. Still have some pieces for the front and for the sides, but I'm gonna wait on doing the front loop and hanging the steering ram until I get the faces put in, because I got some little bit of weird space and geometry going on between the diff cover and here. So I want to make sure that when I design the side pieces that they'll clear my diff cover and that I'll have clearance for my steering ram to move freely back and forth. So basic outline is done. Now we can move on to trying to hang the engine where I want it. Yeah. Do what?
I don't know how far your grill's gonna be on.
Yeah, this needs to drop down about 2 inches. It needs to go straight down about 2 inches.
Let's get it closer down.
And then once we get our motor set where we need to, we can hang our frame rails, and then the bottom of the grill hangs 3 inches lower than our frame rails. So will give us some clearance on that. That's basically where the grill's gonna set though, is right over the front axle. Then my frame rails will stick out. Then I'll have a winch plate and everything. That's basically gonna be it right there. Well, that is fucking badass.
Alright, let's get these.
We got our axles set. The engine is propped up on some super sketchy sticks. but everything is in place. Got our front axle set, got clearance on our axle truss in the front of the engine. Got just a little bit, but now comes the fun part. We can break out all our tubing and we can actually start building a chassis. So what I got, I'm gonna start by building the bottom slider section. This is 1 3/4 inch, 188 wall DOM tubing, and anything that's gonna be in contact with the rocks is getting made out of that. We also got some 1 3/4 inch, 120 wall DOM. This is gonna be for basic structural components, stuff that needs to be strong. Then we also have up here on the metal rack, we've also got a little bit of just welded seam, 1 3/4 inch, and it'll be for anything that needs mounted on a tube. Something that doesn't need a whole lot of strength. So we're gonna start off by building our skid plate and lower frame section. Then we'll move up and build our main frame rails from the front to the back. We'll hang the engine. We'll build a set of sliders. We'll put what part of the front cowl and body that we're going to use on it. Then we'll build our roll cage over the top of the body. And it shouldn't take too long to get something that resembles a car. So we got our rear frame rails built in, but I think this video is getting a little bit long for what I want. So the next time you see this, we'll get the front frame rails done, we'll get our rock sliders put in, and then we'll start hanging the body back on and seeing where we need to put our tubes to do our dash bar and our front bumper. And then once all our body panels are back on, we'll do the cage over the top, and this thing will start looking like a car. So thanks for watching, and tune in next time because we got some awesome things coming for this. Ow! Shit. Damn it! You alright? No. The one side I can get my wrench on is stripped out. Think this is good?
Did you feel the punch?
Yeah. No, it's good. It's a good battery.